Alright, in this video we're going to be working Algebra 2 Quiz 3.1. Okay, and so if y is equal to that 3x minus 15, we're going to, we're trying to evaluate this object here. We're just going to plug in on y and substitute and hope for the best. So right there where I had y, I'm now going to have 3x minus 15 minus 3x all divided by 3, and then take the absolute value of that. Okay. So this is going to be, 3x minus 3x is no x's, which is 0. And that's going to be negative 15 over 3. Okay, so the absolute value of this number is going to be positive 15 over 3, which is 5. Okay. In a foreign language class, they've got to make a speech, and it can be 5 minutes or within that time by 2 minutes. So the difference between the time of the student's speech and 5 minutes can be at most 2. So if we're going to write an equation that represents the minimum and maximum length of the speeches, well, that would be, the difference between x and 5, whether positive or negative, is at most equal to 2. Okay, so that's the equation that represents the minimum and maximum lengths of the speeches, not necessarily the full range of speeches. That would be inequalities. Okay. Now we're going to find the values of x that make the equation true. Okay. Well, if the absolute value of a number is equal to 2, then that number is either equal to 2 or it's equal to negative 2, right? So that x minus 8 number, that's what could be here or could be there. So x minus 8 is equal to 2, or maybe x minus 8 is equal to negative 2. Then I'm going to add 8 to both sides of both equations, and I'll get 10 and 6. And then I'm going to kind of just mentally check and see, okay, yeah, both of these solutions make the equation true. I'm happy. I'm moving on. All right. Now with this one, we're going to have to, again, isolate the absolute value. So we're going to have to take a couple steps first. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides. Divide by 3. And I think about, where can the absolute value of something equal negative 2? Never, right? Absolute value is always either 0 or positive. So I'm going to say this equation has no solution. Alright, this next one we're going to find the values of t that make the equation true, and so if the absolute value of a number is equal to 4t, then that number would either be equal to 4t or it would be equal to negative 4t. And this is the type of equation we're definitely going to need to check our answers for possible extraneous solutions. I think if I remember correctly, then we're not going to get any extraneous solutions, but all right, so we're going to, in this case, I think I'm going to add 7t to both sides. And I guess I'll add 7t over here as well. And that would be positive 3t equaling 5. And so t will be 5 divided by 11, or t will be 5 divided by 3. And then I'm going to check, and yeah, I can see how that's going to work. 20 over 11, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Same thing, negative 35 thirds plus 15, and then be 20 thirds. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get it. I'm having a mosquito problem in here. All right, now absolute value equals absolute value. Okay, so either the two things on the insides. There we go. Either the insides are exactly equal, or they're exact opposites. Okay, and so we can just solve each of those separately. Subtract y. Subtract 5. Okay, and then over here, I'll distribute the negative. Add y. Subtract 5, divide by 13, and then I've got myself two solutions, and you can check, but both of these are going to make the equation true. And that, yep, that's all for Form A. Let's do Form B. All right, we've got if x is equal to 4y minus 16. All right, so I think I'd started this one. But we're going to substitute on x we'll have 4y minus 16 minus 4y, all divided by 4, taking the absolute value. Okay, so 4y minus 4y, that's nothing. We're taking the absolute value of negative 16 divided by 4. That's the absolute value of negative 4. That's positive 4. Okay. Talking about a speech that can be 4 minutes or within that time by 1 minute. So the difference between the speech time and 4 is at most 1. So we can write that with an absolute value equation by x minus 4. The absolute value of that is exactly 1. Because that would be the maximum and minimum lengths of the speeches if we're off by exactly 1 minute. Okay, finding the values of x that make this equation true. Well, if the absolute value of a number is 9, then that number is either 9 or that number is negative 9. And I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Add 3 to both sides. Mentally check my answer and move on. Now here we have one where it's lots of mosquitoes. Negative 8x plus 5's absolute value equals 3x. And so this is one where we're going to have to be sure to check our answers because we're seeing x on the inside and outside of the equation. So we're over here and we're going to say, all right, what are we thinking? Oh yeah, either negative 8x plus 5 is equal to 3x, or maybe negative 8x plus 5 is equal to negative 3x. So I'm going to add 8x to both sides. Maybe add 8x to both sides of this one. Divide both sides of both equations by 5. And I'll have myself 2 solutions. Now I need to check both of these, but it's nothing that's going to happen because I don't have absolute value equaling a negative number. And these are both going to work. All right, now we're going to find the values of t that make this equation true, and we'll do that by isolating the absolute value. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I'm going to say absolute value equals negative 2. That's never possible, right? Absolute value can only be positive, or maybe 0 if we were taking an absolute value of 0 where t was 1. But I'm going to say this has no solution because there's no t we can plug in to make this equation true. Okay. And the last one, we've got absolute value equals absolute value. And if 2 absolute values are equal, then either the things on the inside are exactly the same, or maybe they're just like off by a sign. Okay, so 4y plus 6 is the negative of y plus 9. And in that case, we might subtract a y. Okay, maybe you can solve this one with your eyes, but if not, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides and divide both sides by 3. Okay, over here I'd have 4y plus 6 equals negative y minus 9 to distribute the negative to both. And we're going to add a y over here. Bless you. And then we're going to subtract 6 from both sides and divide by 5. And we've got ourselves 2 answers. Okay, if you want to check these to make sure they work, then you can do that, but I know they're going to work. I'm kind of interested about negative 3. So the absolute value of 6 equals absolute value of negative 6. That's true. And that would be 10 and 10. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, it works. That's going to be all for this video. Hope it helped. Thanks for watching.